I mean, people call me Ron, but sorry, Ron.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And do you have any other listings? Because I still have the same old one, and maybe you already sold it, or do you have anything else that you want me to put in the magazine?
We've sold that one. We don't have anything right now.
Okay. Well, I can keep it on, and if the people, for any reason, they call you for that on that, you can tell them it's just sold. Or do you want me to write sold on it?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just
Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Good.
Okay, we have a few more people. My computer's starting finally. Oh, Hallie's coming, Karen coming. God, reclaim host and computer. Hey, Hallie.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going. Having some technical issues. Hallie, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can see only half of your head.
Yeah, my head's got some problems today. Hopefully it will come here. We're gonna wait 2 more minutes. Hey, how do I? So I'm on Zoom right now. How do I change my camera? Not
What do you
using
mean?
my camera from my laptop, but my device. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do I go into more? No.
If you are on, oh no, I know. Where's the little thing on top?
Wouldn't it be video?
Should be like accessories or something, you know.
A video,
Oh yes.
maybe?
Video, and then press the little up arrow
Arrow
up to the video.
Yeah,
And it should give you a
select,
few
yeah.
different options.
Adjust background, choose video filter, video setting, maybe.
But it's only showing Toshiba when I have a NextGo camera.
A what?
I just have a different camera. It's not showing up on here. It's good.
There, we have you.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just have another camera. I just
Okay.
my patience.
Ah, Rene is there. I can see him.
Previous part was better, Olivier.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah,
afternoon.
that's what my ex-girlfriend says. Renee, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna stop it right there, Renee. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, it's okay. Hi, Kathy. We got Kathy from Canada today, Karen from Tampa. Oh, hi, Leah. Tell us. I know Leah's you're a new member, right, Leah? If I'm not wrong.
Yes, I'm a new member. This is my first meeting with the group. I missed last. So yeah.
Oh, great. So where are you calling from?
I am calling from.
This meeting is being recorded.
Spirit River, Alberta, which is way up north in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah. First time I went to True Story, Alberta, I obviously did not pack enough warm clothes. It was wintertime, and I had to go to a grocery store to buy some socks because it was minus, who knows, it was. But yeah, It's driving through Alberta is very flat, just like driving through Texas.
Yes, yeah. The closest major city center about an hour and a half away is called Grand Prairie, and it is called Grand Prairie for a reason. It's a big flat area.
Yeah,
So,
it's you do a lot of cattle up in Alberta,
yes,
right?
yeah, we do have a ranch here. We own a half section, and yeah, run cattle on it as well. So, yeah, in my
Great.
spare time when I'm not doing real estate.
You are, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Kathy, hey Kathy, did you ever find a intern at one of your community?
I have one I'm talking to tomorrow. I haven't found one yet, but I'm hoping. I've had a few calls from people from out of the country and I just can't deal with that just yet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find one local. So I'm looking hard.
Okay, good. All right. Well, let me know when you
Thank
do,
you.
and you're very welcome.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Very excited for today because this is a very common topic. Obviously, there are a lot of countries, all over the world that Americans and foreigners are buying real estate in, but Mexico is definitely, on top of the list for many reasons. And today we're very lucky to have a GMA member who's also an attorney in Mexico. So we get the best of both worlds today. And Eduardo is going to take us through a presentation, 30 minutes or so to just kind of go through the scenarios on how to buy real estate in Mexico. We'll ask questions. Of course, I've got a lot of questions on visas myself, and then financing, which is also always a big thing here for Americans. I know that I've talked to quite a few agents throughout Mexico in the last month, throughout Huatuco and Cabo San Lucas, and the traffic is definitely it's good. A lot of buyers are coming down, and so that's very exciting for Mexico. For those of you who are joining the call for the first time, I encourage you to go back to our school group, the GMA school group, and watch the videos that we've done previously. We've done my mother with France, on how to buy in France. We've done Portugal with Lisa. We've done Spain with Daniela, and now we're doing Mexico. We're going to try to do England. We've got Costa Rica as well on the map. That's very interesting, especially the northwest part of Costa Rica, which is called Guanacaste. There's a lot of activity there with Four Seasons, Waldorf Astoria, Discovery Properties, and many others. And so very exciting time for all of us. And so I'm going to let Eduardo, I'm going to share my screen. So if you have anything you want to share with us, great. If not, that's okay. But I'm going to have the floor. Oh, and we did Italy as well. Sorry. Italy was it was 2 weeks ago. It was with Armando Sacco. That was very informative because Italy was a little bit different to me than Portugal, Spain, and France, especially with healthcare. To me, it was a little bit different. So it was a very interesting learning experience for me on the Italy part. And so now, Eduardo, the floor is yours. And so thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Olivier. Can you please make me a co-host as I have something to share on the screen?
So I don't I don't know how to do that, but I did allow you to share your screen. So if you go to share screen,
Yeah, okay.
and then you just click on your screen.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Just let me find the presentation and we'll be rolling in a few seconds.
Or if I need to make you a co-host, maybe someone can tell me how to do it and I'll do it.
Yeah, I know I'm heading there. I'm just opening the presentation, so it's gonna show up on full screen.
Which part of Mexico are you in again, Eduardo?
I'm located in Guadalajara.
Okay.
It's the west part of the country.
West
So,
part, okay.
I'm ready now. So let me just put here, share the screen option, and we are ready to go.
Great. We can see your screen now.
You can
Perfect.
see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before anything else happens, I want to thank you, everyone, for being here.
So,
And
your screen is on I don't know, we're just seeing white slides. I don't know.
okay. Because I am able to see the first slide of my presentation. You are not? You don't see that?
No, we don't. We did see it earlier when it came up, but now it's just two white slides.
How about
There we-
now?
Now we can see it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Well, as Olivier said, my name is Eduardo Hernandez, and in conjunction with Lander Michel, that he's on the call as well, we're going to present what is the 6 steps. The first part of this chat is going to be the first steps to acquire real estate in Mexico. And the second part, we are going to talk about the visas that are available for foreign citizens. So we're going to go to the first step, which is obtaining financing. The first the first thing is, yes, it's possible to obtain financing for foreigners in Mexico. And the premise for this to happen is that they have to be either permanent residents or temporary residents in Mexico. We have also to take into consideration that banks in Mexico can lend up to 80% of the value of a property. And the mortgage rates go from 9% to 12%. These interest rates apply only for residential. And the banks in Mexico are willing to lend money for either to buy a finished residential property, or if you want to buy land and build a house yourself, it's possible to do that as well. Banks like Santander, HSBC, Scotiabank, and Banorte are opening the doors to foreigners. So this is a very exciting time, because Mexico, the real estate market in Mexico, in North America, is one of the biggest ones. So it's an opportunity, and facilities are being given to foreigners. The second step of this process is finding the property. I would advocate you, the first thing, to do your own research and found options of properties that fit your budget and areas of interest. It's very interesting to know that places like Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, and the Mayan Riviera have shown an appreciation value of 10% on an annual basis. And these areas, I recently went to Puerto Vallarta and the Riviera Maya, and despite that the rest of the country is not in so much good shape in terms of security, you go there to Puerto Vallarta or the Riviera Maya or Cabo, and it's a very different environment, because the local governments are making big efforts to keep those places safe for everyone. Also, one thing that you have to take into consideration is that if you decide to guide one of your clients to buy property in this market, the value of money is protected, because all these markets operate in US dollars. Also, it's very important to mention that foreigners are able to buy a property in Mexico for less than the cost of a mid-range home in many US or Canadian cities. You know that, but it's also well to note it. The third step of the process is a very important one. As Mexico is it's a very unregulated market in which everyone thinks that they can be a realtor. Normally there are no licensing or certifications required to be a realtor. So having someone like me or like us to work on your side is key, because we know the process from the beginning to the end. It is important to understand that before making an offer, an attorney has to look at the documentation to perform a due diligence and to perform an inspection to the property to see if it's in good shape and there's no it's faulty or something like that. So before that, we make a due diligence and we make sure that all the documentation is in great order, in good shape, legally speaking, is viable. As an attorney, as a professional who has been in this industry for more than 20 years, me and our team are able to give you all the elements so you can make a good decision and guide yourself or your clients to a successful transaction. The step forward is finalizing the negotiations. So once that a due diligence has been performed, as I said in the previous slide, the next step would be to sign a purchase agreement. This is the document where all the obligations and rights are set forth are put in a paper. And it's also important to notice that no home inspections are required to sell a property in Mexico. So here, one thing that could be very interesting to consider is that if you acquire through a mortgage, the financial institution will make sure through an appraisal, when you buy through a bank, the bank is going to ask to order an appraisal to be issued within from of their authorized appraisers. And besides giving you a value of the property, it's also be a constance. It's also be a certification. It's going to be also a guarantee that the property, that the guarantee that you are gonna, the property that you are gonna buy, it's okay physically and legally speaking, because the bank is always going to make sure that the guarantee that they're going to receive for giving their money to the former owner of the property, it's in great shape. In this way, I think that because some banks now there are like offers with many banks, and they say, you know what, we're not going to charge you an opening commission for getting a mortgage with me, like such banks like Santander. In this way, we can guide our clients to make a good decision of purchase, legally speaking, because the mortgage gives you it's not only that the bank intervenes, it's just gives you lots of security, because their legal department and everyone is going to make sure that everything is in great shape, physically and legally speaking. But also, if a buyer decides to purchase in cash, we have another resource, which is we can bring always a judicial expert. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Olivier.
I have a question on the financing. So how do the banks in Mexico qualify or pre-qualify the buyers on the loans? Because I know that, there's no credit score system like there is in America. Or are they using the credit score system in America too?
Yes.
They are? Okay.
Yes. The criteria for the banks, it's simple. We use the banks ask us to get them a Expedia credit score, or there are another two American source of information that I don't remember the names now. But to get a pre-qualification is very easy, and for that you don't need to have a residency permit in Mexico. Now I'm working on a case which basically is a gentleman from Oregon who happens to be Mexican as well, Mexican American, and all his economy is based in the United States. And before submitting all the documentation to the bank, what I'm doing is I ask him for a piece of identification, a proof of address located of an address located in Mexico, to fill out the application, and with these three elements, we're able to pre-qualify a client.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a mortgage broker myself, so if you guys need some information, we can work together, and we always be very careful of all the managing of the personal information of our clients. So the step number 5 is setting a trust. The Article 27 of our Mexican Constitution establishes the obligation of setting a trust for foreigners who acquire property in the coastline or the borders. These trusts are very similar to the ones that you use in the United States. And these trusts are incorporated with the participation of a financial institution, which means that the bank holds the title on the owner's name. And basically, the owner of the property of a property has the same rights and privileges as if he had a deed, like direct deed, without the intervention of a trust, which means that you can use it. You can use it for yourself, or you can rent it out. You can pass it down to. You can inherit it. This is something that the government made to protect the natural resources of our country. But it's everything put on paper. Also, the notary public gives faith of this act as well. So everything is just legally done the way it has to be. The initial term of this trust is 50 years, and then it can be renewed for another 50 years. The cost related to setting this trust, the first year is $1,100 USD for the first year, and then after the first one, the administrative costs related to managing it are $400 USD per year. Do you have any questions?
So that you saying that this is it's renewable every 50 years, and then it can be passed on or passed down to the grandkids or kids or whomever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That means that your money is gonna be always safe. You can designate beneficiaries for specific causes like death or something, and you can put everything in there.
Yeah. And how long is the process to create a fideicomiso?
It's like 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about that, around let's say 3 months.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, and the 6th step speaks about engaging the notary public, which is it's a public official appointed by the governor or every state, and their main duties are to certify. They're gonna make another due diligence. They're gonna check all the papers, and beyond that, they are also going to certify that the identity of the parties involved in the transaction are who they claim to be. That means that if you're going to sell a home and you're the owner, Olivier, she's gonna check that you have that is a true identity, and the other part, and for the other party as well.
Mm-hmm.
This government official is also going to fully identify that the property that is being transacted corresponds physically with the documentation. In the process, there is an appraisal which is issued. It's called cadastral appraisal. That means that the notary public asks one of his appraisers to go, one of the appraisers of the municipality to go to the property, to take pictures, to certify that the property corresponds with the cadastral account that is registered with the government, so that everything is legally in line to what the documentation that he has in front of him, the notary public, corresponds to that. And yeah.
Yeah, so I have a quick question on that. So we hear stories sometimes here in America that it is challenging sometimes to actually find the actual owner of that property. Does it make sense? Like, is it pretty laid out, like legally, to where you know the owners, or because there's been instances to where people are afraid to buy, real estate in Mexico, just knowing that the actual buyer of the property, who's not on the cadastro or whatever you had mentioned, will show up at some point and regain the property. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. That's why the notary public, before proceeding to close the transaction, that's where he checks that. He checks the identity of the parties, and he checks that everything in the escritura, the previous deed, corresponds with the reality. Measures, location. There is an important element that is called the cadastral account, which is a number of, I don't know how many digits, but he's gonna check everything because he's the official of the government that is gonna certify that the property is legally liable, that the parties are who they claim to be. That, Olivier, if you own that property, I want to make sure that you're the actual owner. So if I'm not sure or something, I'm going to ask you for more documentation to make sure that the act, in this case, the real estate transaction that I'm going to certify as a notary, is in good shape, legally speaking, and that no one is there is no identity supplantation or things like that.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. It's a government official. It's not me. It's not an attorney. But the figure of the notary with the attorney makes a perfect combination, because before getting to the point where we have to go with the notary, me as an attorney, I have to review all the documentation. I want to say, you know what? Okay, this documentation is in good. It looks viable to me, legally speaking. So the next step is go to the notary, and he's gonna search. He's gonna perform a search in the local public registry, which means that, because you can have a deed, but in reality, if you don't check that deed in the public registry, that means nothing. You know, they have to go to the books or to the database. We have a database where we check the owner's name, the measures of the property, and before everything, there is a certificate that the local public registry issues, which is called Certificado de Libertad de Gravamen, which in English is a certificate that, as its name says, certificates that the property is free of any liens. But not only that, it puts some additional information regarding the property.
Right. Here, I have two questions. I have a few questions here before they start piling on. So hold on. I've got the first one was from Renee, I believe. Renee. So Renee asked, are these properties taxed yearly?
Yes.
Yearly. Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the amount of taxes that you would pay yearly for properties, it's the amount of taxes super low compared to what you guys pay in the United States. I don't have the numbers right now, but I can send you an email. And yeah, taxes are very affordable. The tax that this is called impuesto predial. This taxes the property, and it actually this impuesto predial comes from the income income law that the municipality emits every year, issues every year, and then it comes all with the cadastral account and everything. So that's another sign that the property is in good shape, legally speaking, with the cadastro. So yeah, answering that question, yes, it's taxed yearly. Yeah.
Yearly. Okay. Good. Good. Another question here, real quick. Hallie said, I'm wondering if it is better or safer to get citizenship status or something similar, or is it not necessary?
It's not necessary. Okay, it's not necessary if you're gonna pay cash, but in order to get financing, it's mandatory to have immigration status.
Good.
Okay.
So yeah, comes to the next question on that. Kathy said, what is the process to become a permanent resident? If you are, do you still have to set a trust?
Can you come again?
So Kathy was asking, what is the process to become a permanent resident, number one? And then if you become a permanent resident, do you still need to create the fideo comiso?
Yeah. Okay. First question. First answer. If you're a permanent resident, yes, and if you have to create, you have to incorporate the trust. And the process of becoming a permanent resident of Mexico, I think that Lander Miguel, who is joining us on the call, if he's still there, he would give us a broader perspective on this. Lander, are you there? Well, he's not here. He's okay. Gone. But then, to the person who is asking that question, I'm not an expert on immigration issues. That is what I invited Lander, but he had an event in Spain now. But my homework is to write an email to you, Olivier, where I'm going to explain to you in general terms the process, and all the things that we need, or that a foreign citizen needs in order to become a permanent citizen. However, at the end of this, the next slide is we're gonna talk about the visas.
Okay, great, perfect.
So we have three kinds of visas that are available for foreigners to be in Mexico legally. This visa is called temporary residence by showing economic solvency. This type of visa can be granted to a foreign citizen who plans to stay in Mexico for a term longer than 180 days, but less than 4 years, to carry out activities whose economic remuneration does not come from a Mexican entity. And to be eligible for this type of visa, there are two options. The applicant must prove through 12 banking statements a monthly average balance equivalent to 8,000 days of minimum salary from Ciudad de Mexico, which in Mexico, these numbers, the salaries in Mexico can change, but now if we translate it to Mexican pesos or US dollars, it would come to $67,000. I mean, the applicant would have to be able to prove $67,000 of monthly average balance in her statements of the issued by the bank. Or the second step, or the second option, an applicant must be able to provide documentation that shows at least a net monthly derived income, unemployment, or a pension equivalent to 365 days of minimum salary. In terms of money, see, if Olivier wanted to come to Mexico with this category of visa, he would be able to prove an income of 16,960 pesos with 33 cents or $118.8 USD monthly at today's exchange rate. Did I explain myself?
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear.
Okay. This is the second time of visa for temporary residency by acquisition of a property.
Yeah.
Just like the previous one, this type of visa allows you to remain in Mexico for more than 180 days and less than 4 years. And it's a type of visa that is already devoted for those people who are already owners of a property. So if Olivier wanted to apply for this kind of visa, or any of you in the call, you would have to be able to prove that you purchased a property whose value is the equivalent to 40,000 days of minimum salary in the Ciudad de Mexico, or 536,669.87 USD at today's exchange rate of 20 pesos with 78 cents pesos per USD.
So can you elaborate on that? So because there was another question coming in from Alvin on that says, is there an investment visa available for obtaining residency through property purchase, which is what you're talking about right now? And then he says, if so, what is the required investment amount of the property value, which is what you're talking about right now? So
yeah.
So you're again, just
yeah.
tell me.
I'm
again.
gonna go again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go again. Yeah. So let's say that any of you are interested in coming here to Mexico and you already purchased a property. So to be eligible to apply for this category of visa, the value of the property has to be at least 537,000 USD.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty pricey.
Yeah. So the previous option that I showed you is the friendliest one, because the amount of income that is asked for, it's very easy to meet.
So on this one, you don't have to show any income. You just have to purchase a property. No.
Yeah. You say, let's say that Ron or Sherry, they bought a property together and they come to me, hey, Eduardo, we already purchased a property in Cabo. Okay, with the title, you go to the consulate in whatever part of the world you are at, and you tell, you know what, this is I want to apply for this temporary residence by acquisition of a property visa. The premise is that this value of the property is pretty much like more than half of $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have a question from Karen. So Karen says, how many days can a non-resident of Mexico stay in Mexico with no visa?
179 days.
Yeah, 180, 6 months. Yeah, got it. Yeah, okay.
I'm saying 179 because
after that,
at the 180th, it would expire your stay, your possibility to stay.
Interesting. Okay.
And then this is a temporary. This is one. It's like the goal. This is another option, but for people who are coming here as investors, temporary residency investor.
Okay.
This type of visa, like previous ones, allows a foreigner to stay in Mexico for more than 180 days and less than 4 years. And it's for those foreign citizens who have already made investments in Mexico. So in order to be eligible for this type of visa, the applicant must prove that has done investments in the social capital of a Mexican entity, valued at 20 days of minimum salary in Mexico. But in terms of money, it would be 268,852 USD, or in Mexican pesos, 5,576,000 Mexican pesos. And in order to navigate this option, the applicant should have to show the original and copy of those documents that prove ownership by a foreign company of goods or fixed assets used for commercial or economic purposes with a value in excess of 20,000 days of salario minimum, which is, it basically refers to the amount of money that the paragraph above speaks about, which is 268,852 US dollars. And the second part is you would have to show original and copy of those documents, of the documentation that prove the development of the economical or commercial activities in Mexico via contracts, orders, invoices, receipts, business plans, licenses, or permits and certificates issued by the Instituto Mexicano del Seguro Social, Inc. that reflect hiring at least 3 employees.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question on that, but yeah, go ahead. No.
No.
Yeah, so 2 questions on my part that kind of connects it to the.
Yeah.
So
tell me.
I know in America there's been a lot of talk with different associations, realtor associations here, that there's this new, and I quote, MLS called Omni MLS, OMNI. Okay. And earlier when you had mentioned, do your research. To you, from your experience, where would you do your research as an agent in Canada, or as an agent just really anywhere around the world? I mean, are you going to Proper Star? Are you going to realtorinternational.com?
No. In Mexico, because the market is unregulated, there's no certainty of any property that you would see on a website.
No.
That is something that we have to struggle with every day. So basically, there are pages like Inmuebles 24, Inmuebles24.com.
Inmuebles 24.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna write it for you here. But let me find the chat box.
Because that's, I was telling my mother, I'm helping a friend of mine right now buying in Huatuco, and I'm looking at different websites, and on one website the price is this, on the other website the price is that. It's completely different. But so Inmuebles24.com. Okay, Inmuebles.
Yeah.
Or anyone, if you can see that in your thing, I would write that as a note, because again, we have these associations here that are really promoting heavy that these MLSs, which I don't know how they're getting away with being able to use the word MLS, because I thought it was copyrighted and trademarked, but whatever. Because please explain to all the people here and the people that will listen that most of the listings you have in Mexico, I would say that 95% of them are non-exclusives, right?
Yeah, or non-existent.
Or non-existent?
Yeah, this is what happens. As I mentioned before, this market of ours is so unregulated. Like, let's say that Kathy or Leah want to publish a listing to start receiving leads from that publicity. They just can take pictures of their own home and say, this home is for sale on this, and they put their name, they put all the information, and they're going to start receiving calls. So it's a very, very complicated. The day-to-day operation is very complicated because once you find a listing, you have to call that person to find out if they even have a contract. Because that MLS figure, we don't use that. That's very. This is a game-changing situation. The fact that EXP came out because all the listings, by having them here, we are more regulated. Or normally, we have lots of real estate websites. The listings don't exist, or you call and I call as an agent. Oh, you know what, Eduardo, you are late. The property sold yesterday. So and things like that, because many people use these websites in order to catch leads.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So here, I would I advocate to you, in case that you want to work with your U.S. or foreign clients, we can work together. And let's say you have a client that says he wants to buy a property. Let's not say not Cabo, not Puerto Vallarta, whatever, or out of it's time. My advice would be to go on the Mexican websites and explore what's available, and save those links. And once that they have them, I can myself start calling them to see if they're actual listings. Things like that.
Yeah, due diligence. Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah.
Good to know. Perfect. Then I've got another question. This one is obviously, as we know, baby boomers in the U.S. and Canada as well, by the way, are about to start retiring by the thousands on a daily basis. And the biggest thing that they're looking for, obviously, is healthcare. How is healthcare in Mexico? I mean, again, a lot of stories. I don't want to, but can you? So let's say that let's say that I buy a home for $540,000. Now I'm a resident, okay? Or let's say that even within that 179 days of me being in Mexico and something happens to me, how does that work?
Okay. First of all, the Mexican public healthcare, I wouldn't recommend that, because they're gonna let you die.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what it makes this experience complete and safe for every foreign citizen, I would advocate to you to use the policy, insurance policy from for example, in my case, I have my family insured with MetLife. The prices of a policy are very affordable. For example, for a family of 3, I pay like 60,000 pesos a year, which is $3,000.
Okay.
And then that gives you the possibility of, in case something bad happens to you, like a bad sickness or an accident, you can go with your card and say, I had an accident, and they're gonna refund your emergency. So we have lots of companies that sell health insurance in Mexico at an affordable price. And for example, if you decide to go to a doctor, it's not that expensive. I mean, an appointment with a good doctor costs about 1,000 pesos, which is $50. And we have very good doctors, very, very good doctors.
So Sherry, that was not 3,000 pesos. That's $3,000 a year.
Exactly.
For his family, yeah. And so by you paying the $3,000 a year, if you do get sick or your child breaks a finger or whatever, you have access to different hospitals and different than the others. Okay, got it.
Yeah, when you signed before you signed the medical policy with the insurance company, they're gonna show you a catalog of the different hospitals that are available within your policy range, So yeah, that's the way we're doing it. And yeah, I mean, that's the way things have to be done, because if you go to a hospital and you want to pay with money from your own pocket, it can be devastating.
Okay. So it's still so regardless of, from what I understand, regardless if you're there 179 days or you are a permanent resident, go ahead and buy one of these insurance that cost 3,000. I mean, obviously, it would be less if you stay 179 days, but yeah, I get it. Okay.
And then, for example, for dentists, it's the same. My insurance policy does not cover that. But let's say that I have to go to a dentist for for removal of the tooth or whatever. It's not that expensive. I mean, the removal of the tooth can cost, I don't know, $150. And I said, no offense to you guys are Americans or Canadians, but I think that we have better doctors than you.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you on that because the last week I was very ill, and I can tell you some stories my mother know. It's very scary, and that's the reason why I'm asking you these questions, because it's good to know, again, to have other choices. Let's just say that in a nice way.
Absolutely. No. And many people have asked me that. And I happen to have friends in Canada, and they have been asking me about this. And yeah, I mean, healthcare is affordable. Yes, it is.
Right.
Much more than America or Canada.
Yeah, I have a question from Sherry here about baby boomers, actually, who will be on Medicare. Do you know if they need to purchase a separate policy?
I mean, as I said before, if you come here with Medicare, I am aware that they would have to buy a policy here in Mexico.
Yeah, because it's completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, Medicare is the U.S. and it's got nothing to do with Mexico. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and okay, that's great. Anyone have any questions? I mean, for me, this is great because like I said, there's so many people always looking to buy real estate in Mexico, and just having this information is so valuable because, again, going on Google.com and trying to find the answers is definitely not the way to do it. I'm definitely learned a lot of things today, especially on the visas. Very, very informative. Anyone have any questions for Eduardo? Don't be shy.
I have another question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
How long for closing, Eduardo, like from placing your purchase contract, getting it accepted to actual closing, a ballpark of how long it would take to close?
I think we could talk about 3 months from the offer to the closing of the transaction.
Did you say 3 months?
3 months, yes. Yeah, I mean, in that period, you are able to put your mortgage in place. On parallel, we can work with the fideicomiso once the credit is approved. I talk about, most of my transactions. I said it would take me 3 months to close.
3 months.
Yeah.
And so I know also that now in Mexico, are you as a country seeing a lot of these title companies coming over from America? I know that back in the day, my mom and I, was it Fidelity? No, not Fidelity, but there was quite a few. American Title was one of them, I think. Are they coming over to the United States even more so than ever, or?
I'm not aware of that.
Oh,
Never.
title companies? Okay.
No?
So how do you at closing? It's like, so yeah.
Okay. Here, what happens is that the who does the job of the title company is the notary public.
Oh, okay.
So it's always, we can, if you have a listing, or the first thing that we have to do is ask for the current deed, and then, well, instead of using we don't have that system here. So if any of you come to me and say, hey, Eduardo, please, I have this client that is trying to give me this listing in Mexico. The very first thing I would have to do is to go to the public registry or find someone to do a research for me and verify that the title of that property is actually on their name. You know, because paper means nothing. That property could have been sold a long time ago, and you don't notice because you have a paper, you have the deed. So that would be more like the process.
Great.
And any questions? Any more questions?
Leah had a question. It says, Eduardo, do you service all of Mexico or only certain areas?
No. I mean, it's if you have a client, or I mean, besides the listing that I could have, we can coordinate efforts to find a property anywhere in Mexico. No problem. Because at the end, for example, if we decide to work with the bank, for example, I'm very I am siding with the idea of working with the banks because this saves lots of headaches. You know, so they have I work with the bank and I say, please give me the list of notaries that work in Mazatlan or in Cabo, and you know, I told her, you know, I search. I will go to them and say, you know what, I'm trying to do a property research on your area. You please help me, and things like that. It doesn't matter where we are at right now because we are able to sign, you know, distance, you know, site documentation, not necessarily being physically in the place. You know, everything is just about having the case in front of us and say, okay, we have this property. My client is interested in purchasing it. Let's do a due diligence and run all the process that we talk about today. So, you know, if there is some kind of insecurity or uncertainty on the side of your clients, I would advocate them to use to buy through a mortgage. Sherry.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Eduardo. Ron and I worked with Eduardo a couple years ago, and he went above and beyond. Unfortunately, we never closed on that property, but I think it was, you know, he really did his due diligence, and I really appreciate that, Eduardo. And he was not anywhere near that property, and he found people that could be boots on the ground. He really, you know, he really did help us out a lot. So I just wanted to put a shout out to Eduardo that he's a great resource.
Gracias.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sherry.
And
Thank you.
Eduardo is advertising a great new listing in Tulum. Amazing property that will be in the next magazine of Casas and Estates. Really, it's something that you guys need to look at because it's really something out of this world and really deserves to be seen. And I think it's a great property, Eduardo.
No,
That's
thank
great.
you. I want to say something for those who live in the United States. You guys, by being there, have access to one of the biggest markets. You know, the case that I'm dealing with right now, the Mexican American, all the Mexican Americans that you see in Canada or in the United States, those people are eligible to get a mortgage. You know, if let's say that they don't have the enough amount of income in the United States, we can do something to complete that because they are Mexicans, and we have all the means to put things in order so they can be eligible for. I mean, I'm not gonna send a file, an archive to file to the bank if I'm not sure that mortgage is gonna pass, because if something is wrong, I can delay the mortgage another 3 months because I would have to wait another 3 months to get things in order. So you can come to me always and say, hey, we have this client. He has these papers, but he doesn't have this. And we can talk one-on-one and say, okay, I'm going to talk to my team to find out what has to be done in order for the mortgage to be approved. So I, as a GMA member, as a Mexican, as you know, I have been doing this all my life. This is what I know how to do, and so please feel free always to give me a shout and say, I'm always available. I would like to work together with with all of you if possible, because I have all the resources. Please be confident, and please consider this. For nowadays, it's a big thing. The fact that we have to be very, very careful with the information and the documentation that is shown to third party. So we can embrace them and say, okay, Olivier wants to come to live to Puerto Vallarta, or Sherry or Ran. Okay, what do they have to do? They want to become residents. Okay, let's put if we're going to work together. All the information that comes to us is always going to be kept very highest private secrecy. So you know that, because that matters now. Now, in terms, this is one of the things that matters most to people.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Well, thank you so much, Eduardo.
Great.
We are out of time, but thank you so much for today. I'm gonna post this recording, of course, on the school group. This was incredible, valuable information, and I want to thank you for doing this for us today. I appreciate it, and thank you everyone for being on the call today. Like I said, I'm gonna post this recording in the group, the school group here in a couple of hours. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and comment. Eduardo will be tagged on that post, and so you can ask him any questions, and then Eduardo, vice versa. If you've got information you want to add from what we just talked about today, please feel free to add it.
Yeah, I'm going to, Olivia and Audrey, I'm going to submit to you guys the presentation that I delivered today to you, so you have that information handy.
Okay.
And for any purpose to bring people to Mexico, we are always here to help.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, Eduardo. Thank you again, and have a good afternoon, good day, and good evening.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, bye-bye.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you.
Yes.
Don't forget to send me the information.
No. Today or tomorrow, but you're going to have it. I'm very interested in,
good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.